Hi and welcome. In this video we're going to be talking about alcohol detox from alcohol using a detox center. I'm going to be sharing with you the facts, what the literature says, and my experience with various detox centers around the United States. I'll also be touching on alcohol withdrawal, delirium tremens, getting sober, how to stop drinking, alcoholism recovery. Most of these subjects I've noticed that you guys are looking for on YouTube, and I'm going to touch on them to help you or a loved one through this. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is James. I am a grateful recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I drank and used drugs for 20 years, recklessly, damn near dying, and I've been recovering successfully for 3. I post videos almost every week here on this channel to help addicts and alcoholics that are seeking strength, experience, and hope, as well as loved ones that are seeking help for others. Feel free to subscribe and click that drop down arrow if you're on your phone. It'll take you down to the description where I've posted relevant topics for this video and other videos, resources, links to AA, NA, websites, and things to help you get along in your journey. Also, scroll all the way down to the bottom if you're on your phone to comment and share with us your strength, experience, and hope for all of us to get something from it. First of all, you're in the right place. Alcohol detox, big decision, great decision, and it's also a scary decision. I'm here to help you make this choice in this fork in the road and help you along your path, or someone you love along their path. First, I'd like to open the discussion with reading one of the comments that I found particularly touching. It was on my video, alcoholism, personal story, how to stop drinking. I'll link it up in the card up here. Anna R. writes, I've been drinking from age 35 and now 37. Was once a year social drinker but would black out. That should have been my first clue of my addictive nature. It's been awful. I tried to stop cold turkey. I'm on my 3rd night and have the worst anxiety and pain in my chest. Please pray I can get through this. As a mom of 2, I can't take this anymore. Anna, thank you for your comment. My heart goes out to you. I too used to have chest pains, liver pains, anxiety. I couldn't think, racing thoughts. One of my recent videos, Delirium Tremens, I talk about my alcohol withdrawal seizure, and trust me, it's scary. Detox from alcohol is scary. This is why we're going to talk about how to find a center and get yourself to a center. Anna, I understand the anxiety. You said you're on your 3rd day. Alcohol withdrawal is anywhere from 3 days to a week. Acute withdrawal symptoms can be dangerous and downright deadly. People have seizures, people hallucinate, shake, there's sweating, loss of appetite. I know what you're going through, and it sucks. But rest assured that you wrote that comment a couple days ago. By this time, if you're staying hydrated and getting something to eat, I'm wishing the best for you. I'm sure we all are. Anna also writes, no one knows at home why I'm feeling this way, but it's definitely a withdrawal symptom I've never felt. Thank you for your encouragement. And I've been optimistic every minute, but scared at the same time. It is scary. And if you're not alcoholic, you don't understand these things. That's the benefit of contacting an alcoholic or listening to an alcoholic speak in videos like this, or detox centers. A lot of times the employees in detox centers are recovering addicts and alcoholics. They've been through it, they know exactly what they're doing, they have medical experience now. Detox is going to be a medical procedure. They detox you medicinally through benzodiazepines, Ativan, mild benzo, gabapentin. Right here in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, in the very beginning, there's the doctor's opinion. This is one of my favorite sections of the book. This is where Dr. Bob Silkworth talks about his opinion. He is a medical doctor, a physician, William D. Silkworth, MD. He says, we believe, and so suggested a few years ago, that the Action of alcohol on these chronic alcoholics is a manifestation of an allergy, that the phenomenon of craving is limited to this class and never occurs in the average temperate drinker. These allergic types can never safely use alcohol in any form at all, and once having formed the habit and found they cannot break it, once having lost their self-confidence, their reliance upon things human, their problems pile up on them and become astonishingly difficult to solve. This, of course, happened to me because, as we know, there is no movement without pain for the addict, and that is where the whole rock bottom philosophy comes in. Pain is the greatest motivator. I hope you can relate to that, because I certainly did. In short, in my own words, alcoholism isn't a form of lack of willpower or a moral deficiency or any kind of thing that suggests you're a bad person or a weak person. It is a straight up disease and illness. This has been proven to me through countless face plants in the gutter. Let's start with my first detox center. My first experience with detox, I had decided to go to detox because I had heard about the dangerous withdrawal symptoms, seizures and delirium tremens of alcohol. I'd already beginning to experience the weird insanity of just craziness going on in my head from withdrawal, anxiety, depression, just straight up craziness. So I went to detox. And let me just tell you this. And the reason I say this is the best decision of your life is because once you make this decision, once you get under the care of professionals, there is like a big pressure gets released. It's like a lie that you have just let out and you are just free, and they tend to you. And these are experienced professionals at detox centers. They will treat you medically, psychologically, and spiritually, and they'll be gentle with you. My first experience with detox was in New York. I am a veteran, so I sought services through the VA and found one on the 4th floor of a VA hospital in my area, and I proceeded to sincerely seek help that time. As you may have known from watching my other videos, I've been to rehab 3 times, and each one of those involved a detox first. If you seek rehab, they're going to make sure that you are detoxed. They will give you a breathalyzer, a piss test. They will test you to make sure that you are sufficiently detoxed. This is because of liability reasons. They can't take you into rehab if you're about to have a seizure or start hallucinating and jumping out of windows. This may be comical to some people, and to others it may be their worst nightmare, because it is a reality. With detox from drugs and alcohol, especially certain drugs and alcohol, benzodiazepines, opiates, these are particularly dangerous, and barbiturates, so you have to seek medical help. My first time, VA hospital, 7 days usually. This is your typical detox center. They feed you mild Ativan, benzodiazepine. You get sleep, you just clean up. Detox is not a fun time, but we've tried the easier, softer ways of getting sober, and we have failed. So this is the last resort, and the wise man, the wise woman will take the last resort before they need it at the advice of others. It was 7 days. I actually began to start, by the second time I went to detox. This was offered, so financially I didn't owe anything for this. I was covered through my VA. Now, I ended up at that detox center over the course of the next half a decade, 3 different times. Once because I was sincerely trying to get sober, once because I was straight up homeless, or I think twice because I was straight up homeless in the cold New York winter. Fast forward, I ended up going all the way down to Florida in the end of my run, and wound up drinking down there too, and I had to go to detox before rehab. I have detoxed in emergency rooms, I have detoxed at home, I have detoxed in centers that are specifically for that purpose, and twice in Fort Lauderdale, they decided to, probably at the benefit of themselves financially, decided to combine detox centers and psych wards. Fort Lauderdale, if you don't know, is among an area, actually the state of Florida is notorious for taking advantage of and exploiting addicts and alcoholics through the means of just charging them, housing them, detoxing them at great expense. However, I was at the end of a particularly devastating run of drinking and using all kinds of things, and I needed shelter for one, but I definitely needed detox and rehab. So I sought out rehab desperately. When this time I was down there in school, I was drinking in my dorm. I'm right on the verge. I got kicked out, but I was right on the verge, and I knew it was coming. So I said, I gotta stop. I gotta go to detox. I called the ambulance on myself. I didn't have a car down there in Fort Lauderdale. I called an ambulance on myself, and I remember getting in the ambulance with a house plant in this pot. Actually, it was a bonsai tree, a fig plant. It was a fig tree, a bonsai fig tree that my sister had given me, and it, I don't know, cheered me up. So I brought it with me, and I remember getting in the ambulance with it and a couple other things, and I was like, yeah, I'm crazy, just so what, who cares? I brought that to detox. Of course they're not gonna let me bring it into detox, because this particular detox, the first thing I noticed wrong was they wanted to take my shoelaces. And I said, now I've been to detox. This was my 4th detox. So I found myself on a psych ward in one hospital and another psych ward in another. And how did I know it was a psych ward? Well, they took my shoelaces, and there was a compulsive masturbator and various other disorders of the mental category. This is when I found out you have to do whatever it takes, because I didn't like it that I was on a psych ward. I was sick in my addict brain, and I felt entitled and better than everybody else. And like we do, I felt I was the center of the universe, and I wasn't crazy. I was just afflicted with addiction, and I needed to get over it. But I wasn't in the best state of mind down there either. In fact, both of those times that I went to detox down there was for the purpose of shelter, and just, I was at the end of my rope. I was seeking rehab, and I was trying to get a freebie here, there, anywhere. All of that runs out, and in my experience, it did run out, and I had to give up. Surrender is what happens after the gift of desperation has been given. And I surrendered and came up to move in with my dad and began my sober life. However, I relapsed a couple times and had to detox a couple times there as well. And one was at home with gabapentin 3.5 years ago, when I found myself in the grips of another hellbender of a drinking escapade. I came out of a blackout to beer cans and vodka bottles on my, covering every inch of my kitchen counter. It was a mess, as it usually was when I came out of a bender like that. This time, this week, I had relapsed, and within a week, I was just far beyond gone, experiencing hallucinations. At one point I came to standing in the middle of a room. I had no idea how I got there, what I was doing, why I was standing there. I had a vague recollection that I was talking to someone, somebody was in the room with me, but I was home alone. This scared the bejesus out of me, and I decided to call in the rescue squad. I called my dad. He happened to be out of town at the time, and I was taking care of his dog, and I said, what do I do about the dog? He said, don't worry about the dog. He called my sponsor at the time, and a couple of, I have made friends in the rooms of AA and the rooms of recovery, and my dad has a couple of their numbers. I did this on purpose. Sometimes we have to provide a safety net by telling on ourselves. sabotaging our alcoholic brain with our healthy brain. Because if you're watching this video, you have a momentum going. You have made the decision. You've been given the gift of desperation. It was the best gift that I've ever received. Desperation, just sheer. There is no greater motivation than pain. And if you're watching this video, I hope you're not in pain. But if you've searched on the web, Detox from Alcohol, Delirium Tremens and Alcohol Withdrawal, you're most likely in pain. I feel for you, but I assure you, you're not alone. This is a worldwide epidemic, alcoholism, addiction, and I have been there. In this particular instance, I called in the squad. He from Florida called one of my good friends, and they said, don't worry about the dog, don't worry about the house, don't worry about anything. Fortunately, I had people, they came, they cleaned up my mess. I had a friend take the dog, and I literally ended up, I believe, I don't know how I got to the emergency room. This particular time it was the ER, and they proceeded to treat me. I knew the drill. Folic acid, mild benzodiazepines. I was at the time smoking cigarettes, so they gave me a patch. Stay in bed, get some of these fluids in you, get some of these vitamins, folic acid, so on and so forth. That was 2 days in the ER. This is all really vague. Meanwhile, I got out of that. I got out of there. I got out of the hospital and came home, and I believe I may have started drinking again. But that is the nature of the beast. My dad came back to the house, and he, as far as I can remember, I had been prescribed gabapentin at the hospital. Gabapentin, to my understanding, is an anti-seizure medication, and it made me very sleepy. However, my addict brain, not treated with the spiritual solutions yet, or any of the experience of recovery, I wanted to eat those like candy because they made me feel comfortable. They took the edge off of the withdrawal from alcohol. They made me sleepy. They made me kind of relaxed. I said, if one makes me feel good, 5 will make me feel great. If you've experienced this kind of craving, you understand. If you're not an addict or alcoholic, you say, why the hell would you take 5? Well, it's only something that we can understand, but in this instance, I made a dash for safety, and I said, Dad, you gotta hold this medication. I'm eating it like candy. I said, I'm only prescribed 1 a day. Let's just do 1 a day until I find out rehab. So in this instance, I had gone to the emergency room, gotten the folic acid. The 2-day hump was over. They prescribed me gabapentin. I detoxed at home. I still gave my dad permission. I still had supervision. We as addicts, we're gonna get ourselves in trouble, especially in the early stages of sobriety. We're gonna drink, we're gonna eat drugs, we're gonna smoke drugs, shoot drugs. In this instance, I had a medical prescription, and I released the responsibility of taking the prescription to my dad. If you're wondering about the technicalities of alcohol withdrawal, take a look at my Delirium Tremens video. I'll link it up at the end of this video or down in the description. I go through my personal experience with it, as well as some of the facts. Delirium Tremens you don't want to mess with. They'll talk to you about it in Detox, and a small percentage of those afflicted with alcoholism actually encounter delirium tremens. It comes in the final stage of alcoholism, and the final stage also includes death and dementia and just jaundice and all kinds of nightmarish things that neither you or I want to ever encounter. Shaking, tremors, hallucinations, delusions, confusion, and there's also the possibility of seizure. Check out that video, and I will also link up information down in the description on that. If you have the gift of desperation right now, if you're desperate enough to seek out these videos and read up and actually just are desperate enough, like I was and many people have been, to seek out this stuff. Keep that momentum going. It is very easy to slip back into F this, F that, F it all. I'm gonna just drink, and don't do that. Keep this momentum going. You're in a great deal of pain right now. Believe it or not, that is the best thing that has happened to me, was all the pain that moved me to recovery. Recovery has been the best thing in my life, period. That's why I've decided to make this channel and pass it on as best I can. And detox centers, whatever it takes to detox and move forward into recovery is the first step. Congratulations. This is an awesome move for you. Whatever it takes, day or night, if it's the middle of the night for you right now, click one of the links I have down in the description about detox centers near you, or the AA website can help you out. The AA hotline is on the website. NA, if that's your thing, you're still gonna need detox. NA, AA, you gotta detox from your way of life right now and move on to your new way of life, which is recovery, paradise, normalcy, and all of the promises that sobriety and recovery have to offer. And I am a living example, and I am here every week to demonstrate, and I will continue to try to demonstrate how the promises do come true. So keep the momentum up and go to detox, and then go to rehab. Studies show, research suggests and demonstrates that a person that doesn't go directly to treatment, AA, alcohol rehab centers, right after detox, will relapse time and time again. It's happened to me. So don't mess around. Detox, rehab, life. This is our plan. We're gonna stick to it. Trust me, it's the best decision of your life. Question of the day. Scroll down if you're on your phone all the way to the bottom to comment. Leave me a comment, and for the benefit of others. Have you been to detox? What was your experience with detox? Are you on the fence about medical detox? What are your feelings? What are you going through? Share with us. Let's all share and benefit from each other. We're in this together. I call you friends because we have a common enemy, a very powerful common enemy of addiction. We're all friends here. Let's chat. Share with each other. Share down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and check out the resources in the drop-down description. Well, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And until next time, just keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing the damn thing. We'll see ya. Anxiety.